What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Blessings, everybody. My name is Rashay, and welcome to my channel, Chay Unfiltered. So, guys, this video, we are going to go over episodes 7 to 9. Now, because these episodes are a little bit more condensed, it's not 6 episodes at one time, it's just 3. I'm now going to go by episode instead of just by couple because there's a few notable things in each episode that I do want to focus on. So, we'll go by episode, go through the debauchery, and have a good time. So, we start off episode 7. We are still in Mexico. And one big thing that I guess I noticed first out, or the biggest question I had was, do they get to pick their own excursions? Because I feel like some people went on better excursions than other. Like Ashley and Tyler got to ride a camel. Alex and Tim got to go ATV riding. And then like Monica and Steven were eating food. Or like Taylor and Garrett were like, they went to that making class thing, whatever it's called, and they made a fish. Like, I feel like some people had better excursions than others, so I wanted to know if like they actually got to pick their own excursions. I would hope so, because then why are you picking lame ones for me and everybody else gets the better ones? Whatever. I feel like they made the whole scene with Tim and Alex so dramatic. When I tell you so dramatic, it felt like a TLC documentary. Like, they're interviewing each of them. Yeah, I really wasn't sure if he was going to come back. I didn't realize how much it bothered him until I had the conversation. And then Tim, I wasn't planning to come back. Like, why are you guys making this so dramatic? It is never that serious. And we can't feel the dramatics because you didn't show us the scene. Like, they just irritating me with that. But in my last video, I said that Ashley doesn't ask enough questions. And I feel like she doesn't because she was just ready to get married. Like, she just made up her mind already. Like, they're on the camel and Tyler's asking her, oh, are you sure? Do you feel like you're going to say yes at the altar? Like, you're going to get married? She goes, yeah, I can get married to you tomorrow. You've known this man for all of 3 weeks, maybe at this point. Actually, I think less than that at this point. How are you so sure you're going to marry the man tomorrow? Like, I feel like she made her mind up already, so it didn't really matter what he said, what came out of his mouth. She was going to marry that man, which is super unfortunate. It's super unfortunate. She should have asked more questions. That's all I'm going to say. Now, obviously, at this point, we all know the drama and the tea that is surrounding Tyler and his alleged sperm donation babies and all of that. Now, I'm not going to do a full tea video. If y'all want to know all the updates on that tea, there's many creators on YouTube that have done this. Jessie Woo being a very notable one, or even on TikTok, Storytime with Ricky. She goes really, in depth. So I would recommend checking those out for those tea videos. But knowing what we know, it's the fact that this man sat here with this girl eating the food, talking about, oh, when we have kids, I want to do this tradition and that tradition. You already have kids. So you already have traditions. Like, I was just sitting here like, there's no way this man is this trifling. Like, there's just no way. Monica really started to annoy me. What is the obsession with flowers? Someone please tell me what the obsession is with flowers. Like, you said in the pause that you were going to give me flowers and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, the way that Steven was looking at her, like, I was looking at her too, because I was like, girl, it was never that serious. Like, I could anticipate that this man meant, like, I'm going to, like, give you things, make you feel loved. But, like, her honing on the flower stuff was getting me so annoyed. And you guys discussed your different financial upbringings, and you're going to say, oh, I understand that, and I would never make that come between us. But then you're also going to say your love language is gifts. Well, the man's not always going to be able to get you gifts. So, like, this is a compromise you're going to make with marriage. Like, I just don't actually understand what she didn't understand about that. But okay. Now it's Steven. Oh my gosh. This man, I hate when these men get out of these pods and start just, like, backtracking. And just backtracking. You came on Love is Blind to get married. Like, that's the premise of the show. This is not like a surprise. It's not like they dropped it on you guys last minute. You knew what you were coming on the show for. So to turn around and basically now say, oh, this is just a really big decision to make, and I don't want to ever feel like I'm forced and all that. Like, are you being so for real? And that's why like Monica's reaction was valid because like, are you having doubts? No, I'm not having doubts. So then why are you even talking to me about this if you're not having doubts? This sounds like doubts. And I'm just annoyed because why do you guys come out of the pods and all of a sudden change your mind? Like that stuff irritates me like to the max. Now, moving on to when they like meet up with the couples again and the whole like fireworks thing and like him not wanting to go stop his conversation with Garrett to go do the fireworks with Monica. Like, I actually want to know if what he came back and relayed to Monica and Taylor was really what him and Garrett were talking about. Because if that was really what him and Garrett were talking about, I need Garrett, I need Taylor to go back to Garrett and be like, "Sir, why are you and Steven over here talking about girls sliding into your DMs and wanting to do this, this, and that to you now because you're off of the market? Like, why are these even conversations that we're having?" And the fact that Steven sat there and said all of that to Monica and Taylor was so uncomfortable. Like, I felt uncomfortable watching the scene. And then Monica got up and left poor Taylor there to talk to the man, continue to talk to the man about it by herself. I was like, Taylor, get up. Get up and go talk to Garrett. Run, run. Another thing that I don't really like with Monica and Steven's relationship is that anytime Steven doesn't do something that Monica likes, she obviously, I mean, it's fine to point things out, but like she'll like make it a thing and then you're right, you're right. Oh, you're right. Steven, no. Stand up, have a backbone, do something. Not this you're right, you're right. Like I understand the whole happy wife, happy life thing, but like at the same time, you still need to stand up for yourself just a little bit. Like just a little bit, sir. Don't let her bulldozer you and do all of that, especially because some of the stuff that she's making a big deal out of is really never that serious. Did you guys see Steven's face when when they got, now they're left Mexico, they're back into like their apartments now in DC, and this girl started talking about flowers again? Oh my gosh, Steven was fed the F up with this girl. Like, stop talking about flowers, girl. We don't care. We don't care. Like, we need to buy groceries. I don't care about your stupid flowers. So I don't have much notable to say about Alex and Tim this episode, other than the fact that those two have no chemistry. Like they don't seem to click on a lot of things. And this is what I was talking about in the pods of all that was happening was him trauma dumping. Like, did you guys even talk about things that you guys have in common? That's what I'm interested to know about. And something I didn't mention before was when they did the ATV riding and they were talking after the fact, and like, Alex was talking about like, oh, I think we should move forward and make this work. And he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, I agree. I want to, see where this goes. His body language told me all I needed to know. That man did not want to move forward. Like his body language just felt like, I'm done and I'm over this. He seemed very closed off. And I'm really good at paying attention to cues. So I need these women to be more intuitive and look at these cues that these guys are giving you. I feel like Garrett's family is super nice. Like they were really welcoming to Taylor and stuff like that. But his mom is like super emotional and it very much gives like no girl's ever going to be good enough for my son. At least that's the vibe I got from her in the beginning, like initially. She could just be emotional because this is her son and she wants the best for him, and how moms usually are with their sons, and she just wants him to not get hurt and stuff like that. But I just feel like she was being a little overly dramatic. Like, take it one day at a time, like they are taking it one day at a time. But I don't know, that's just the vibe I got initially from her. But that has to be the most notable thing for me in terms of Taylor and Garrett this episode. I just feel bad because they're literally like every other couple in every other season that is like the couple that doesn't really have drama. So I'm like, I don't have nothing to talk about when it comes to you. And I don't really, your scenes don't interest me, I should say. Okay, and we're going to end off episode 7 with Marissa and Ramses in terms of just like my ideas in terms of them. So I don't see anything wrong with Marissa wanting like the black wedding and stuff like that. It seems like it's dark, but I actually recently went to a wedding that like the color scheme was like black and white, and the aesthetic was really pretty. Like there's a lot that you can do with it. So I feel like Ramses shouldn't really have shut her down. He just didn't see the vision, because I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. But boy, I had to skip their entire entire conversation when they started talking about the ceremony, because this girl had the audacity to say that God has to take a back seat. And I said, oh, no, 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 honey. That's blasphemous. No, no. When I tell you it disrupted something in my spirit, I was like, woo! Let me just fast forward through this conversation altogether. You can very much see she wants to get away from like the patriarchy and stuff like that. And again, back to her military service. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that she takes from her military service that stares her away from guys who are typically in military or just like over patriarchal stuff. But I will say she's proud of her service. I have my own opinions on that. I'm not going to get into it. But what pissed me off with Ramses is this girl told you in the pods that she was in the military. You knew this when you proposed to her. She even continuously said, oh, my friends and my family are in the military. That's like my whole life. And then now you guys are talking about this and you have a problem with her military service? Like, I can understand you're from Venezuela and you've seen the other side of it. Okay, I can understand his point of view and where he's coming from. The military does horrible things, but it's like you're acting like this is the first time the girl opened her mouth and told you she was in the military. And then now you're making her feel like judged, understandably, and like feel a type of way. And I feel like this was the beginning of the downfall of Ramses, because he started questioning things that were very core to her and things that were not a surprise. That is all I wanted to say about episode 7. So now on to episode 8. Episode 8 starts off with Tyler and Ashley. And then once again, what are they talking about? Children. Tyler, here's another opportunity to tell Ashley you got kids. But what does he do? Not tell Ashley he got kids. So that's what? The second time in this set of episodes that they're talking about children, and he's missed his mark or his opportunity. Okay. I am so happy Steven finally took this girl to go do something flower related. Because if she didn't shut up about the flowers, I was going to lose my mind. I'm glad they finally went and did something. I will agree with the lady. I liked Steven's flower thing better. I don't know, maybe because I like my favorite color is purple, so maybe I'm biased, but I just feel like his looked better. And that's just what it is. And Monica felt salty, but merp. The thing that irritates me about Steven, though, is he does not stop talking about sex. The man said, oh, if you do nice things for your wife, she'll reward you with sex. That's not how marriages work, sir. And this is where I already knew his thoughts and his perception of marriage was flawed. Because you can never stop talking about it, and like, you act like you're into all these kinky stuff, and I don't feel like Monica's into that stuff at all, and she needed to speak up if she wasn't, because he thinks you're okay with that. So then now when it comes to time that you're not okay with that stuff, that's going to cause a problem. Okay, Nick. Nick lives with his parents, and I'm going to put a disclaimer right here. There's nothing wrong with that, especially the economy that we're living in right now. Living with your parents, there's no problem with that. However, his mama do everything for him. Like, everything for him. There's not one thing that Nick does for himself. And again, it's a thing with moms. They really like to baby their sons, and I need y'all to understand this. I'm not a mother, so don't come for me, but I blame the mom sometimes, and I kind of try to give the sons grace, because if you baby your son and don't teach him essentials and fundamentals, you don't teach him how to clean up after himself, you don't teach him how to cook a basic meal, he's going to get into a relationship and look to his wife or his girlfriend to be his mother. And that is going to cause him problems. So I really need boy moms to like evaluate this and understand, like, if you yourself in a relationship don't take that from your husband or your man, why would you think anybody would take that from your son when he's in a relationship? So I feel like they really need to evaluate how they're raising up their sons. That's just my opinion. Marissa's friends are asking valid questions. Finally, somebody is asking valid questions. Like, I was on their side. Like, Ramses wasn't making any sense because, again, Marissa told you all my friends and family are in the military. Now you're meeting up with her friends and you're telling her oh yeah, we had a disagreement in terms of her military service, and her friends are gonna ask you, okay, so like if she was to rejoin the military, like, would you divorce her? I don't know, probably. Are you being so for real right now? Why did you propose to this girl? Like, every time this man comes on the screen now, he pisses me off more and more because I don't understand why you are so like on this point. If it was such a problem, you should have never proposed to her. You should have just let her continue her connection and relationship with Bowden. At least they understand that aspect, and she would have her feel judged for being in the service. Like, oh my goodness, I'm just like so over it at this point. Tim and Alex's conversation with his family was cool. No big notes there. I will say I am and when I say so happy that Tim kept the dead sister's conversation to a minimum. He mentioned that he had older sisters that passed away and he left it at that because I said, I promise you, if this man sat here and started to trauma dump on her family too, I was just gonna turn off the show. I wasn't gonna do it. So I'm so happy he kept it simple with about his sisters. Alex, though, girl, I'm gonna have to get at you because this man spent the whole day cooking for your family, and you couldn't even make their plates. You can't even make their plates, and that was another thing against you. I told you guys in Mexico, by the look on his face, I felt like Tim was already done. Now you made this man cook all day for your family, and you couldn't even make their plates. It's a no. And again, similar to what I said about Brittany, it's not giving wife. It's not giving wife. I need Taylor to understand um that man don't want to move to San Diego. He has made it very clear that he has, grew up and live in Fredericksburg or wherever the heck he's from. And that's where his family is. He wants to be close to family. He does not want to move. And his family not being fond of you now, first of all, you're a stranger to them. They don't know you. You guys got engaged after 10 days. They don't know them. You're making a big decision with their son already. And then now you're coming and trying to move him hours away from them to a whole nother state. Of course, now they're going to have a problem with it. And I feel like it's going to tear him up because he seems very close with his parents, at least. It's going to tear him up to be that far away from his family. So I'm just interested to understand what she's going to compromise for him on the other side if you're really having this man uproot his entire life to move because you want to move back to San Diego. So that's going to be interesting. And I just hope that doesn't cause problems for them down the road. Now, Hannah girl, you know I'm going to come for you because there's nothing with problem with being a neat freak. But one, you've seen how Nick lives. You see how he lives. He lives with his parents and they do majority of the stuff for him. Um, that man is not going to come in here and vacuum every day and wipe down the baseboards and do all that stuff that you're used to doing. You have to, and train sounds like a really bad word because he's not a dog or a pet. Not train him, but you need to give him an opportunity to get used to your routine and see how he fits into that routine. I feel like Hannah is so focused on like, this is how I like things done, and you need to learn how to do things this way instead of actually having a conversation with him and saying like, okay, this is my routine. This is your routine. How are we going to put our two routines together in a way that will work for the both of us? Like, I feel like she was not ready for marriage simply for that because she wasn't willing to um, adjust her lifestyle to incorporate a man. Like, living with a man is not easy. Like, there's certain things that you have to change about what you do and stuff like that because you live with a man now. Now I have to worry about the toilet seat being put up. Now I have to make sure that the toilet seat, there's no dripping on the toilet seat when they go to use the bathroom, all that stuff. Like, it's little things that you now have to be considerate of because you do live with a man. And I feel like she just was not willing to think about those things or even try to adapt to those things. The whole moment with Tim and Alex's dad when he read the letter, honestly, that was so cute. It was so cute. I was on the verge of crying myself. Like, it was so cute. Um, and I felt like, it was genuine and the dad really wanted to give his blessing. So I thought it was just overall a cute um, scene, and I didn't really have much notes other than the fact that it was cute and I almost cried. Now, knowing what we know now, I needed Ashley's dad to step it up more. ask some more questions. Be a little bit harder on Tyler. Like, I felt like you gave him the easy way out, and like you wasn't asking enough questions, and you're saying, well, if Ashley says that he's no longer makes her happy, that's when daddy steps up. No, 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 no. I need daddy to step up now. I need you guys to read between the bull and protect your daughters, please. Like, I needed him to do more. And like, is it just me, or do the dads be crying on this season? Like, first Alex's dad's crying, now Ashley's dad's crying. And is he African? I'm trying to figure out his accent, because I don't know. I'm trying to figure out his accent. So like, is he um African? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you picked up on. Monica, 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 Monica. That man showed you who he was from day one. That man showed you who he was from day one. We are ending off episode 8 with a bombshell from Steven. This man was out here texting a girl all these nasty, kinky stuff and what he want to do to her and all of that while he's supposed to be at a sleep test. Now, I got tested for sleep apnea. You're supposed to be sleeping. So what time in between there do you find to really be talking to a girl or texting her any type of nonsense? That don't make no sense to me. Monica, that man showed you who he was from the jump and you chose not to believe it. He told you he emotionally cheated before. You told him you're being too hard on yourself, and now look where it got you. But I will say, Monica saying, I want you to Venmo me all the money that I spent on you because you didn't have no job. Period, Monica. Run me my money. Give me my money. All of that. Like, I was laughing so hard at that part. And I was like, yeah, make him pull out the phone right now and send it right now. Because me, I don't play about my money either. But yeah, that is episode 8. Moving now on to episode 9, which has to be the most, whoa, episode, okay? It has to be the most dramatic episode up until this point. And I was like, too much going on. A whole lotta. So Nick not knowing how to boil pasta is not a surprise to me. Like I said, his mom does everything for him, and that he's not ready for marriage because that's not a husband. You can't even boil pasta. You can't help me with anything. How is he? And this is my point. How do you expect your sons to survive on their own if you can't even teach them simple things like boiling pasta? Boiling pasta, being able to make like chicken and all that stuff is like some of the basic things. Your son should know how to do that. I'm sorry. I do love the fact that Nick finally clapped back at Hannah. Like, you know, the fact that her brother even said that, like, she can dish it but can't take it. Like, you've been picking at Nick over and over and over again to the point that it's borderline, like, mean now. It's not even picking a joke at him anymore. Like, you're actually cutting deep, saying some really hurtful things. And he finally said, like, well, of course I left the laundry on the bed so you can fold it. What do you do all day? You ain't got no job. Period. You don't got no job. So what are you complaining about? The fact that you're home cleaning and doing all of that, what are you actually complaining about? You're not working. He's going to work. Take care of your dog and clean the house then. Do something productive with your day. Like, I don't actually understand why she was getting at him so much about that. I will say I feel like Taylor and Garrett are the only ones that are really going through like a realistic view of this experience in terms of like how your family and friends react, because of how like resistant his parents are being in terms of like them wanting to move, or how resistant her parents are being in terms of not wanting to be on camera and all of that stuff. And it poses a big question, like, if your family didn't give their blessing, like, would you be able to get married? Like, I feel like I wouldn't be able to get married without my family there. Like, it would just feel weird. Even when my husband proposed to me, like, all of our friends were there, but like I didn't see, like, no family was there. But then I realized that my family were like on video call or video chat because they couldn't be there in person. And that's when I was kind of like, oh, okay. But until that point I was like, but my family's not here. They need to be here for this moment. Like, I'm a very big family person, so that was just me. But like, let me know in the comments, like, could you guys get married without your family's blessing? Like, I feel like I couldn't. I actually liked Tim's house. Tim's house was nice, neat, organized. It was like well decorated, at least for like a man. Like, it was a very man house. So like, it was well decorated, but it was clean, well put together. You can tell that he put effort into it. But I will say his house is very much giving Virgo. Our houses very much look like nobody lives there. Like, that's our toxic trait I say all the time. I want my house to look like nobody lives in it. And unfortunately, that's not how life works. So I'm constantly stressing myself out. Marissa's siblings seem cool. They seem nice. They seem very open to Ramses and getting to know him and this whole experiment. But I feel like her mom was doing entirely too much. Like, there's a difference between wanting to protect your daughter and not wanting to see her be hurt and, asking the right questions and being skeptical, getting to know this guy because they are getting married really quickly. But there's that, and then borderline just coming off very like a B word, basically. Like, why are you being so aggressive? And just because your marriage didn't work and you don't think things last forever does not mean you could put your negative, attitude towards their union. Like, it's really ridiculous. And I feel like that's exactly why Marissa said, like, well, I don't need your blessing. I'm going to get married to him if I want to. And then you're going to call your daughter a B word because she don't listen to you. Like, they're dynamic. And moms, please stop calling your daughters out their names and making them think that that's okay because they let men do that to them and they let other people do that to them. And nobody should be calling you out of your name. So please stop normalizing that. Hannah's parents seem nice. I will say though, their reaction to their own daughter says a lot because if your own parents are telling you need to chill, I think you probably need to chill. And that just shows that you're doing absolutely too much. She seems very high strung. She's very hard on herself, so she tries to be hard on others. And I just really like that her parents were trying to humble her and be like, listen, this is going to be a marriage. There's going to have to be compromise. Like, you're going to have to get through it. You cannot nitpick at everything because nobody's ever going to be perfect. And I'm so glad like they said that to her because she's been doing entirely too much. Now, Alex, girl, you know damn well to not have your house be looking like that on national television. You know that they were going to come back to your house at some point. Like, how how are you comfortable and okay with people seeing your mess all over TV? Like, I can understand being a little bit messy, especially like with clothing and sometimes not putting it back, but like that was bad and it was all over your apartment. And I already knew that Tim deep down was like screaming inside because as a person who's also kind of a neat person, or I don't want to say a neat freak, but I'm pretty neat, that would drive me insane. Like, everything needs their place. Like, and if it's gonna be a mess, at least make it an organized mess. Like, this whole like it was really bad. It was really bad. And I've seen on a lot of people online saying that her apartment and even just her demeanor gave very much like she was depressed. And I wonder if there's some truth to that because otherwise I don't know how you can live in your house looking like that. Honestly, Ramses, I'm over you. I'm over you. You came off as in the pods as Mr. Progressive, like, I'm not going to be a toxic male. I don't like toxic masculinity. I'm different. But you're going to sit up here and try to force Marissa to go on birth control because you don't want to wear a condom. Make it make sense. You guys are grown individuals. You understand the consequences of not using that. You don't want to shorten your timeline and have kids sooner, but then you also don't want to protect yourself from having those kids sooner. You're acting like a child. And honestly, I don't know why we're still having this conversation. Do we not learn from Johnny and Amy from the previous season? Like, do we not learn from them? Stop forcing women to go on birth control because you don't want to do things on your end. It's not fair to the woman to force them to go on things. And she also said the reasons why she doesn't want to go on it. She has a very severe illness and all that stuff that will be affected by the birth control. But you don't hear all of that. And that's my problem with Ramses. He keeps saying like, I hear you, but then proceeds to say what he wants. No, you're not hearing me. And now we have reached the big moment of episode 9. Oh my goodness. Tyler finally dropped the bomb that he got kids. But of course, what is he doing? He's framing them as, oh, I have a friend. They're a lesbian couple. They wanted to have kids. They couldn't afford a sperm donor, so I wanted to help them. All right, sir, I'm going to need you to stop lying and say things with your chest because you are very much involved in those kids' lives from everything that we've seen up until this point with all the tea going around and all these people coming out. You are very much involved in these kids' lives. They're not just sperm babies to you, and reducing them to sperm babies is actually very insensitive and mean. Your kids they're going to grow up at one time and watch this show and see these episodes and realize that you're reducing them to sperm babies. Small editing note here. I noticed when I was watching back my videos, I got a little bit ahead of myself, and this is likely a result of me already watching all the episodes and knowing what happens. But my whole point with Ashley is that she never asked enough questions, but I will say she did ask some valid questions in this conversation. You know, she says, I need to meet these people, potentially know what the real dynamic is, and if I need documentation to back up your claims that you're not involved in these kids' lives, can you provide that to me? Now, I'm going to show you like a very, very small clip. I just want you guys to see Tyler's face when she says that. He looks terrified. It's like as if all his lies are catching up with him. Okay, guys, and that is it. That is my recap of episodes 7 to 9. A whole lot went on in these episodes. So I hope you guys enjoyed my recap and my breakdown. Let me know in the comments if you agree with anything I said, disagree, have your own opinions. You know how it goes. I like to discuss this stuff with you guys. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so you know when I drop my other videos, as well as please share the video. I want to get it out there, grow my audience. You know how that goes. I will see you guys next time. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. Bye.